via any kind of electronic device, they have so many warnings on there from everything, including don't submerge the product in water, something that's just common sense. So in this situation, when you're dealing with the Schedule I drug, you're dealing with the product, but there's a big lack of education. You definitely want to include a lot of labeling. Your marketing practices you have to be conscious of everything that you do in this industry.
We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be joined by Martina Jaccarino and Avis Baboulian. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Grassroots Marketing will return after we generate traffic to our generous sponsors. InternetMarketingNinjas.com is the online dojo of the highly trained and skilled Internet Marketing Ninjas. Disavow documents, reconsideration requests, panda and penguin penalties. Let our superior SEO ninjas confront all of your link-related issues. The Internet Marketing Ninjas are equipped to master any marketing exercise, content creation, authorship, link building, PPC, and more. Plus, build more buzz for your brand with our social media marketing strategies. Discover all that the Internet Marketing Ninjas can do for you. Visit the online dojo now at InternetMarketingNinjas.com. Chronicling the latest cannabis industry news and headlines.
Well, with 4 states with tax and regulate and the District of Columbia.
The state of cannabis.
Oh my God, it's refreshing. We have people that generally wouldn't speak on behalf of cannabis for fear of retribution, fear of losing your practices, fear of many of those things, and find ourselves in a place that we finally can.
Bringing you fact-based news and views and keeping listeners on the pulse of what's happening in the industry today. The state of cannabis. On demand anytime, only on CannabisRadio.com. Educator, author, and advocate Dr. Mitch Earlywine is here to tackle the burning issues.
And I'm here to clear up the myths about cannabis and burn them away with science.
CannabisRadio.com presents a no-holds-barred platform that seeks to redefine and revolutionize the entire scope of the cannabis culture while opening the door for more to join the cannabis crusade.
Dr. Kevin Hill.
You can't ignore the fact that, like alcohol, most people who use don't have a problem. So I think that you need to think about policy in that way while educating people properly about marijuana. I think that's the way to go.
Burning issues, only on CannabisRadio.com. We're back with more motivating marijuana monetization insights on grassroots marketing, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Welcome back. I wanted to ask you, Martina, what are some of the things that people can do to reduce the risk of the lawsuits we've been speaking of?
The first thing they can do is understand the risks, not just of product liability, but all the risks that a legal business faces, and consult with a knowledgeable, conscientious insurance professional who will explain what the coverages are, what's included, what's not included. The second thing, you need to surround yourself with other quality professionals who understand the positives and the benefits of cannabis and are willing to be honest about that. People who have access to medical literature that's peer-reviewed, the type of information that you can use in a court of law, those are the types of benefits that you can indicate to patients they might experience. The third thing, properly train employees and encourage them to read credible literature themselves. Don't allow your employees to talk about their personal experiences. This is a business. A related issue, if you allow your employees to work while they've been taking cannabis, unless they're using it pursuant to a prescription, that can impact your insurance coverage in a lot of ways. Your employees need to be properly trained, and they need to be managed just like in any other business. The fourth thing is not to make your business a target. There's a lot of publicity right now about all the money that you can make in a legal cannabis business. That creates targets in the business. And as I mentioned earlier, I come from a background of medical malpractice defense, product liability defense. When the big tobacco lawsuits were going on, people fought for years to get information about the profits that were made by big tobacco companies. People fought for years to find out the day-to-day profits of particular drug companies, because that information hurts you in a court of law defending a claim. The fifth thing is probably the most important thing. We need to document all the things we're doing right, because when it comes down to the courtroom admissible documentation rules the entire process. So you have to consult with an attorney that's knowledgeable in the area of tort defense. It's very different than compliance. Compliance is often not a defense at all to a tort lawsuit. In some states, it's somewhat of a defense. It's admissible. It's the bottom below which you cannot fall. So what you really need is someone who understands the factors that come into the courtroom in product liability claims. And you also need a credible doctor, not someone who is just using the medical marijuana industry to increase his income, but someone who is knowledgeable about the risks and the benefits that can work with your attorney to make package inserts that are credible and comprehensive. I also think that it's really important that patients fill out forms when they come to your dispensary that talk about why they're there. Not just what their card says, but what is their intention, and they sign all their waivers. So there's a lot of different things that you can do that as your trial attorney, I've done 15 jury trials. So I know the things that I like to have when I'm defending a case. You need someone who can tell you what those things are that you can use, because it's not just about the fact that for the most part cannabis is safe. It's about the fact that when people are on the plaintiff side of a case, or frankly, sometimes if they're just having a financial downturn, they'll claim anything. And if you don't have something to fight back with, it can become very expensive. Those are the 5 things that I tell people that I implement, not just in the cannabis industry, in other industries as well, that I've learned from doing medical malpractice defense.
Well, we're running out of time, so tell us, Avis, how they can get a hold of you.
Well, I can be contacted through the web, www.bullyancg.com. That's BULBULYANCG.com.
Thank you so much, Avis. Martina, how can they get a hold of you?
Right now, if you put Martina Marijuana into Google, that's going to lead you to me, and that's going to lead you to Black & Labello. Our website is blacklabellolaw.com.
I want to thank Avis and Martina for being on the show, and the producers for making this possible. Thank you so much, and we hope you join us for our next edition of Grassroots Marketing.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without proper consent of CannabisRadio.com is prohibited.
Dr. Dabber, hurry! Its temperature is shooting past 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's burning up.
I'm afraid for this little guy, it's just too late.
What caused the problem?
Only Dr. Dabber can maintain the perfect temperature for a smooth-tasting, slower burn. This standard vaporizer lost all of its health benefits, sending it up in smoke.
So you're telling me that most vapor pens burn so hot they produce smoke, not vapor?
Correct. Keep away from those standard vaporizer pens and turn to Dr. Dabber. Doctor's orders.
Less heat, more flavor.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Candid.
I want to give you the inside story.
Captivating.
I want to introduce you to my kind and amazingly talented friends.
Compelling.
We get to meet some of the most amazing cannabis activists and warriors around.
Listen in as medical marijuana pioneer Dr. Dina shares never-before-heard stories, chats with cannabis insiders and celebrity friends, and provides invaluable perspective and insight into one of the fastest-growing industries in the world.
I want to share with you what was once confidential information. Let's expose the truth, discuss the issues, and learn the facts.
Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
USA Radio Network Sports, I'm Ray Canterbury. Greg Ward Jr. threw for 308 yards and 3 TDs to lead number 21 Houston to a 52-31 victory over number 15 Navy in college football Friday. With the win, Houston clinched the Western Division of the American Conference. Meanwhile, number 24 Toledo was upset 35-30 by Western Michigan. The loss by Toledo sends Northern Illinois to the West Conference Championship game. One other game of note will be the Battle of Texas as number 7 Baylor meets number 19 TCU in Fort Worth. The NBA returns to action Friday, and one of the big mysteries of the young season is the slow start by the Clippers. Friday night they host New Orleans, and LA coach Doc Rivers says they're struggling to find consistency.
Every night it's one or the other. And as bad as I didn't think our defense was that bad tonight, especially in the first half. I thought our defense was terrific. We couldn't score points. Two of our better scores or two for whatever, and I would say of most of those, they had pretty good looks.
And this is USA Radio Sports.
The more you learn about your insurance coverage, the more gaps you might find. Like how you thought you were covered for this.
Honey, someone stole my wedding ring.
When you're really only covered for this.
Honey, someone stole my Dakota ring. Oh, well, it was weird anyway.
Or how with renter's insurance, you're covered for
valuables, electronics, bikes, karaoke machines, waffle makers, superhero pajamas.
And without it, you're covered for... Talk to a farmer's agent about what gaps might be hiding in your insurance.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB. So call 800-479-2697. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-479-2697.
The season is over for Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo. The veteran QB suffered a hairline fracture in his collarbone Thursday after being taken down at the end of the third quarter against Carolina. The injury happened in the area of the collarbone that Romo broke in September. There are 7 games on Frozen Pond Friday. One finals in as Boston scored a pair of late goals 2 minutes apart and beat the New York Rangers 3-2. Top 25 hoops, couple finals to tell you about. Number 10 Gonzaga dropped number 18 UConn 73-70. Number 20 Wichita State was upset by Alabama 64-60. Number 23 Xavier beat USC 87-77. Number 8 Villanova beat Georgia Tech 69-52. Syracuse stunned number 25 Texas A&M 74-67. Other games include number 1 Kentucky tangling with USF. Number 3 Michigan State is meeting Boise State. Number 4 Iowa State is going up against Virginia Tech. Number 24 Cincinnati will meet Nebraska. Number 17 Notre Dame will meet Iowa. Ray Canterbury, USA Radio Network Sports.
Maui Wowie. Acapulco Gold, California Kush. Our strains stretch everywhere, too. This is the Cannabis Radio Network.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Police in the U.S. city of Colorado Springs say 3 people have been killed in a shooting at a family planning center. A gunman opened fire at the clinic, which is run by the Planned Parenthood organization. The shooting continued for several hours before the gunman surrendered to police. The city's mayor said those killed were 2 civilians and a police officer. Pope Francis will pay his respects to Ugandan Christians martyred for their faith in the 19th century on the latest stage of his trip to Africa. As many as 2 million people are expected to attend an open-air mass at Namugongo, where most of the 45 Anglican and Catholic martyrs were burned alive. The Brazilian government says it will sue a mining consortium, Samarco, for the damage caused after a wastewater dam at an iron ore mine collapsed, pouring millions of cubic meters of sludge into the Rio Doce, one of Brazil's most important rivers. The Environment Minister said the consortium would have to pay at least $5.2 billion. Prosecutors in Poland say they won't challenge a court ruling which rejected U.S. efforts to extradite the film director Roman Polanski to face sentencing for raping a teenage girl. The prosecutor's office said there was no basis for an appeal. Mr. Polanski fled America in 1978 before being sentenced in a rape case. Japan has decided to resume hunting whales in the Antarctic after a break of more than a year. The decision comes despite a ruling by the International Court of Justice that Japan should cease all whaling. The Japanese Fisheries Agency said it would go ahead with a revised plan by the end of March next year. Scientists in Europe have started the first official trials to determine whether feeding insects to pigs and chickens is safe. In an experiment, dried maggots or houseflies are ground up and mixed with grains before being given to the animals. BBC News.
MJWellness.com, the largest medical marijuana community in the world, Connect with thousands of patients, doctors, industry leaders, and businesses through shared personal experiences along our worldwide network. Discover new therapies and benefits with content tailored to you. Come grow your network on mjwellness.com. You're not alone.